water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. My name is Liz Zamorsky. I'm offering this, a card just flew out. I'm offering this reading today for you. This is so funny. I meditated with the cards before I started the video because I only have 15-minute time limit until I reach 1,000 subscribers. So please like, share, and subscribe. But so I was trying to speed along the reading thinking, okay, I'll meditate on the cards and I'll just start shuffling as I'm talking in the beginning. And I literally just started shuffling the cards and a card popped out for you and it was Fox Spirit. Think on your feet. And so it's so funny because I was just like, okay, I'm going to start moving and moving the reading along. And then it's like, boom, Fox Spirit, think on your feet. So I think that might be for us as a collective. I'm going to put that one to the side for right now because it may be a message for me I feel like it's a joke from my guide saying like, let's move it along. And now here I am delaying the reading because I'm going on and on about Fox Spirit. So I did meditate on the cards before I started the video, and I'm using right now the Spirit Animal deck by Colette Baron Reed to get some animal energy for you. What's surrounding these Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, please? And I don't usually do a full spread with the animal cards. Usually I use them as clarifiers or I use them as like a theme for the reading. But today I just feel like, I just felt like called to continue shuffling. So this is really funny. I'm looking at 4 cards on the table. And the 4 cards in the order that they came out are Fox, Buffalo, Bobcat, Koala. And the first thing that strikes me about these 4, normally they wouldn't necessarily go together. They're all 4-legged, they're all mammals, so they do kind of go together. They fall under the mammal side of things. But the one thing that's standing out to me is that they're all survivors. Like the fox, they are sly and clever and they're very curious, and they burrow, when they have kits, they burrow under the ground and they go into their underground home, and they really know how to nest and to survive those long, harsh winters. So that's their survival instinct. Then we have Buffalo Spirit, and the buffalo, I just think of them as survivors because they move across long, large expanses to go to where water and food is available for them. They follow their instincts. They're also massive animals and they have all that fur to keep themselves warm. So I feel like they've evolved to continue living in the tundra, living in more harsh winter climates as well. Maybe these are all winter survivors. No, I don't think so. Then we have the Bobcat Spirit. And I think of a bobcat, these are mountain lions, but the first thing that's coming to mind for me is that you'll hear these reports of bobcats being in suburbia. My parents live in Texas, and 2 summers ago, they sent us photos of a bobcat in their backyard in suburbia, suburban Dallas. And so I think of bobcats as like they continue to survive. They might not find themselves always in the terrain that they would want to be in, but they find ways to keep going even if there's urban sprawl. Now with Koala Spirit, I'm realizing as I'm looking at it, they're marsupials. They're not. I think that's different than a mammal. I'm really sorry, I'm not a zoologist. But what comes to mind with the koala are the recent bushfires in Australia. And it broke my heart to see all of these animals from the outback losing their lives or being injured. But at the same time, so many of the images that I saw were these koalas like saving their young or saving other animals young. And so I just really think of them as being very resilient, where even in the face of a wall of fire, they found a way to survive. And so I feel like what's really coming through for you, zoology degree aside, is that for water signs right now, there's this strong energy of bouncing back, being a survivor, facing the toughest, harshest adversity, and being able to step back, really hone in on your survival instinct, really hone in on what's important, and push on in a way that's going to ensure that you're going to live to see another day, I hear. Also, I am going back to the fox spirit, that first card, and just thinking about using the family that you've built for yourself, because I don't necessarily think it's always the nuclear family, but it's also the family that you've cultivated, being fiercely protective of them, but also using that kind of nesting instinct as part of your survival. Like when you really feel like you can't go another day, that you've cultivated this family atmosphere around you that you can kind of hibernate back into, and know that you're all taking care of one another, that you all have each other's backs, and that when the winter is over, you'll be able to emerge and get back to your curiosity and get back to being sly. But it is the messages on these 4 cards as well. The fox spirit, think on your feet. Buffalo spirit, the abundant universe will provide. And I could not believe in that more. That is what's keeping me going right now, is trusting that the abundant universe will provide if I just trust and keep putting one foot in front of another. And I think that goes back to that kind of example I was giving about Buffalo Spirit, is that they find what they need to survive, and they trust that they're following the right path. And that's what I feel like you're being called to embody, is knowing that you have this thick fur that's going to protect you through the harsh winter, and just trust that you know how to find water, you know how to find shelter, you know how to find food, you know how to sustain yourself. You do have these instincts, but at some point there's only so far you can go. And so at some point you have to trust that there's an order to the universe that has your back. And I always have something to say, but right there I just felt like that was, okay, now be quiet, Liz. So there's an order that has your back. With Bobcat, the message on that one is life is a mystery. And that makes me think of that Madonna song, life is a mystery, everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name and it feels like home. Oh my God. That's that beginning part of Like a Prayer, which is such a good song. But when I just said those 4 lines, it really is this whole theme of this reading, is that you may not know what's coming tomorrow. It's a total mystery, but you do have that survivor's instinct, and you need to just keep following the call of your heart, and you're going to find that Foxborough, that buffalo home on the range just came in my head. So I feel like it's survival, but it's also really relying on whatever your concept of home is. And maybe you grew up with home being something that's really scary and not safe and not stable, but you're at a point now where you cultivate your home, you cultivate your safe space. And even if right now what you call home, if that's 4 walls, if it's 2 walls, whatever, find, even if it's just a place in your heart that you can call home right now, start there. I just went like this instead of clapping my hands. I went like that, and it just made me think of a seed casing. You know, where if you open the seed casing, there's that tiny little dot in the middle. It can start like that, where it's like maybe the only home you have is just that seed casing. Maybe it's the casing of your heart. Maybe it's your lungs. Maybe it's your brain. Maybe it's your voice. It may not be your nuclear home, but find your home, because you're going to need that retreat and that safe space in order to find your survivor's instinct. And then the last card with Koala Spirit, Spirit has a plan. That's the message. Spirit has a plan. And that's, again, like so much of this is trust the unknown, find your home, and survive. It's not always going to be thriving. It's not always going to be a fight either. But a lot of it is learning how to trust yourself and trust that you know what your best interests are. And that if you give yourself complete trust, if you give yourself every reason to trust yourself, to parent yourself, to be your own home, you're going to be able to end up where you're supposed to end up, where you're being called, and really trusting that call. Also, the numbers on these cards, in the order that I pulled them out, it's 9, 10, 8, 8. 9 is getting to the end of a cycle. 10 is the closing of one door and the opening of another. And 8 is an infinite number, but it's also a number of incredible, incredible strength. So I feel like you're really coming to the end. You're really on the doorstep of finishing something, of getting past whatever it is that getting through. I'm hearing, not past, through whatever it is that you're being called to survive. And you're doing it with not just plain strength, you're doing it with strength multiplied. You have an 8 and an 8. I would also call you, or ask you, I'll call you. I would also say, if you feel called to, Google the angel number 88. When I see double numbers or triple numbers or quadruple numbers, it's kind of like that 1111 or 222. Google the angel number 88 and see what comes up and see if that resonates with you too. The numbers hold a lot of wisdom as well and a lot of meaning for some people. I'm very attracted to numbers, but they also kind of intimidate me. So I know a little bit about each number's numerology, but I'm definitely not a numerology handbook. So, somebody in my house just moved furniture and it sounded like a whale's call. That like, roar. So I'm just mentioning it because I feel like that might be for someone too. I'm going to pull one more card really fast from the Goddess Power deck. I know that the light in here is changing as well because the sun is going down. Oh, I love this. She just popped out Mary, Miracles. That's Mary as in the Mother Mary from the Jesus story. So I really feel like this is such a beautiful space that you're in where you can believe in miracles and you are going to survive this. Even if it feels like there's absolutely no way for you to do this, miracles can happen. And I also see her, her heart chakra, it looks like a North Star. So follow your heart. You can make miracles happen as well. I do feel called to pull one more card, so I'm just going to see what comes out. What is it that, what's the last thing for me to tell these water signs? Yeah, with the whale song, sorry, I feel like I cut myself up. I don't feel like I finished that thought. I think of whale pods and how they travel together and how the female whales take care of each other's calves. If one of them dies or gets separated, they take care of each other's calves. And so I just really feel like you're being called again to go into that family or that home that you've cultivated for yourself and find protection there. Because once you do, you're going to be able to do anything. When you feel secure, when you feel safe, when you feel that you can survive anything, that's going to be your best. Okay, the last card that just came out is adaptability. And I feel like I just need to end the reading there. You know how to adapt. You know how to survive. You have a survivor's instinct. Make it happen. Thank you so much for being here with this reading. I'm pulling back all my energy. I'm sending all of your energy back to you, cutting cords. And if you want to book a private reading with me, thank you to everyone who has. You can find all the information in the description box below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.